This is why we should all be CPR certified. 70% of the American population feel as though they would be lost or untrained if they were ever to be in the position to need to give CPR, according to Zara Lee. I happen to fall into that 70%, but not for long. My 14-year-old sister recently went into cardiac arrest and desperately needed CPR. It was completely out of the blue and absolutely no prior problems, so my family was not prepared to give CPR. Luckily, my dad was a lifeguard 40 years ago and scrounged up some distant memory in sheer panic of what needed to be done until outside help arrived. The average time for an ambulance to arrive is 8 minutes. That is a long time for your body to go without oxygen, according to Villa Lopes. She was seemingly perfectly healthy individual until she wasn't. Nobody can predict when that kind of thing will happen. With what is going on in the world right now with COVID-19, it is even more crucial that people become CPR certified. Everybody should be CPR certified because you never know when you'll need to use it. CPR is not a complicated or time-consuming thing to learn, but it is, however, literally life-changing. Knowing CPR will obviously allow you to save a life. A lot of professions are required to be CPR certified, so there's a chance you'll have to learn it anyway. And more than 395,000 cardiac arrests happen in the United States every year outside of a hospital. And less than 6% of those people survive due to the lack of resources. Learning CPR will raise that number to much higher than 6%. Cardiac arrest is not the only reason you need to know CPR. We are about to go over some more reasons. Knowing CPR will save a life. No ifs, ands, or buts. More than likely, anyone will be in a situation where CPR is needed. Whether that means a child drowning, a sudden loss of consciousness, or whatever else, it is needed. 150,000 lives roughly could be saved each year if CPR could have been performed early enough, according to American 2020. The doctors made it perfectly clear that my little sister might not be here right now if my dad wanted to know how to give CPR. Nobody would have ever guessed the type of situation this world would be in right now. COVID-19 affects the respiratory system mainly, so it would be very resourceful to know how to give CPR. Different news channels keeps giving warnings about the potential lack of ventilators. CPR is the anti-technology based ventilator. Now that we have talked about the feel-good reasons for learning CPR, let's talk about a selfish reason, which will inevitably apply to someone. A lot of business professions or individual bosses require their employees to be CPR certified. For example, my dad only knew the minimal he knew from being a lifeguard when he was 19 years old. Other professions, and of course anything in the medical field, firefighters, or something that is in a crowded building is forced to know CPR. There's a good chance that you'll have to learn it anyway, so why not just go ahead and be more prepared and know it now? In an interview, that could appeal to a lot of bosses already knowing it and not having to learn it later. You also could end up having to learn it for the same reason that I will be learning it. Something happens health-wise with a friend or family member, and you feel like it would have been more beneficial to already have known it. This is more of a risky reason. It's always better to be safe than sorry and go ahead and know how to do it and not wait on something to happen. Cardiac arrest is one of the leading causes of death in America. It affects people of all ages every single day. Your chances of survival go down by 7 to 10% every minute that goes by without CPR, according to Out of the Hospital. Cardiac arrest affects more than firearms, accidents, many types of cancers, house fires, diabetes, Alzheimer's, HIV, and suicides, all combined. That is potentially a lot of friends, family members, co-workers, and classmates that would need to have CPR done on them. I had previously mentioned that my little sister went into cardiac arrest on Saturday night. She was just sitting in her bed like any other night, and then all of a sudden it happened. No warning, no nothing. This is how cardiac arrest works. According to her doctor, Most of the time, cardiac arrest happens while asleep, so nobody's there to perform CPR. And there's typically a very different outcome than how my sister's ended. My sister is very lucky that my dad was able to perform CPR on her when he did. CPR is the best tool that a family could have to protect each other. Now that I've shared a little more about my personal experience, let's get into a broader perspective of needing to know CPR. CPR is useful with cardiac arrest, world pandemics such as COVID-19, saving lives in general, and required at many workplaces. Everybody should be CPR certified because you never know when you'll need to use it. Thank you.